Right. So we continue from the first lesson. This is lesson 2 because first one is the scope of biology. How big is biology? And this one is issues pertaining to biology. Last class we also started, but somehow we couldn't complete. Right? Okay. Now, when it comes to a science stream, English medium, and you are doing this national syllabus, after student sit for the exam, then they get their Z score to select different universities and different degree programs. So we discussed a little bit this last week, and what will happen after that, student can enter into different degree programs. Then finishing the degree, they start to work in different areas: medicine, dental, vet, agriculture, science, biotechnology, food science, and many other areas related to science. So why people are working in these areas? Because we have several problems to solve. We need experts people, we need brain, we need qualified people to handle current problems. In this lesson, we are going to learn what are the current problems we are facing and how the knowledge can be used to find solutions for these problems. Under that, we try to make whole setup of our world. The priority is human. So human is the main concern in this case, but we also trying to handle other issues. For example, plant and animals and biodiversity. Different animals, plant together, there is a lot of variations, and then our environment, and then natural resources, and more people in the society. There are issues with the humans and how we can use biology to solve this problem. So this is our setup. Based on that, we have human body and diseases, biodiversity, environment, management of natural resources, and then other legal issues, and also plant and food like things. So at the end, the whole world where we live consists of many things, and each component contribute to the existence of the organism. We have identified 7 issues. What are the 7 issues? Issue number 1, biodiversity. Issue number 2, understanding of the human body and diseases and plants, food, nature and environment. And this is the legal issue. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So we have 7 issues at the moment identified. We learn biology to find solution for these issues. Some are very direct. Example, biodiversity decreasing. So the problem is very direct. Biodiversity is decreasing. So we need to find solution to increase biodiversity. Likewise, we can identify different problems in these 7 areas, and you will realize our knowledge will use to identify and find solution to this problem. And also the first thing coming this category is biodiversity. Right. When it comes to biodiversity, we should understand briefly what is the meaning of biodiversity. Bio is living, diversity is variations of living thing. So simply we can define biodiversity, variation of living things. Right. Now, when it comes to a variation of living things, right. Again, biodiversity is variety and variation of life. For that case, we need to understand few things, and we have to remember few things throughout the uh, study period. Right. What is the first thing? We're going to learn this one in the future. So 4.6 billion years ago, world has formed. And again, everything is made favorable to start the life on Earth. Then 3.8 billion years ago, the first organism formed. So here I mention again, this has been asked in the past in a structured question, when was the first organism formed? And this first organism, we can find three features: prokaryotes, heterotrophic, and anaerobic. Okay, what are the meaning of this word? Prokaryotes are the organism which do not have a nucleus. Example, bacteria. Heterotroph is the organism depend on other organism for food. So they can't make their food. Plants can make the food. We call autotrophs, and heterotrophs, they have to depend on other organism. Anaerobic is no oxygen, because that time 3.8 years ago, oxygen level was very less or no oxygen available. As a result, the energy production of this organism done in different way. Okay, then we are coming to next level. Next level is, at the moment, scientists estimated there are about 10 to 100 million species on Earth. 10 to 100 million species, different species on Earth. This is an estimation. 10 to 100 million is an estimation, and the exact number in between these, or maybe something different, but we have a range: 10 to 100 million species existing. So we have three numbers now. First thing is 4.6 billion years ago, Earth formed. 3.8 billion years ago, first organism formed. And number of species, 10 to 100 million. Right. Next thing, so if you keep the resource book with you in front of you now, so you can highlight few things on the resource book. These are the variety of life on Earth, the number of species, the diversity of gene, different ecosystem. So these three words are very important: species, gene, ecosystem. Let's look what is the meaning of this word, species. Now the meaning of species is similar organism. Living things, they look similar. Similar organisms, and this organism can interbreed. They can interbreed, they can reproduce to produce a fertile offspring. Now, similar organism, they can interbreed to produce a fertile offspring. For example, if we take dogs, dog is one species. Dog can reproduce themselves to produce fertile offspring. If we take cats, they can reproduce, and they can produce offspring, next generation, and this next generation is fertile. They can again keep on making the generations like this. But we don't see cats and dog between reproduction, and we don't see offspring coming from cats and dog. Even certain cases, some animal, they can interbreed. Example, horse and donkey. Horse and donkey produce mule. The mule is not fertile. It cannot make a next generation. So then we define species in this level. As a result, we have a 10 to 100 million species on Earth, which make the diversity. And then next one is genetic level diversity. Okay, to understand this genetic diversity, this is species diversity. Now coming to genetic diversity. If we look one species, now human species. So we define species. The species is similar organisms. Now, if you look at this picture, the humans look similar and they can reproduce and fertile offspring. Now, among human, we see the difference. So this is the difference genes among one species. So a difference type of genes in one species. So simply we can satisfy with this kind of a definition rather going for more information at this point. There are many different genes. As a result, these genes give us different characters. As a result, everybody different in the appearance. So that's within a species, different is genetic diversity. And we can also see naturally difference environments. So we call this ecosystem. In ecosystem, we have a living things and also we have a non-living thing. And there is an interaction between non-living and living thing. So we can find different ecosystems, small forest, a small pond, a lake. This can be considered as ecosystem. So we can also see difference among this ecosystem. So biodiversity is species, number of species, species diversity, genes, genetic diversity, ecosystem, ecosystem diversity. Now, what is the problem? The diversity decreasing. Diversity decreasing due to activities of human. There are many natural forests, natural reservoirs, natural places destroyed. When the natural places destroyed, some of the animal they can't live in these places. This animal also decrease in number. So this is the biggest problem, decrease in genetic biodiversity. So in biology, we try to find solution to stop this decrease of biodiversity. Okay, next thing, number two, second problem. The second problem is understanding the human body and its function. So far, we have identified and we have learned different parts of human body, but still we don't know why certain things, how certain things are functioning. Example, when it comes to brain, it's very complicated, most complicated organ. Scientists trying to understand how brain is functioning and how brain activate to make a person happy, how brain activate to make person sad, and how brain activate to make person intelligent. And what is the link brain with the digestive system? Is there any link uh, brain with the digestive system? And digestive system, alimentary canal, small intestine, there are a number of bacteria living. So this bacteria has effect on function of the brain. So people trying to understand this kind of a thing, and we are lacking getting knowledge, this kind of information. So we expect more and more brains people, expert people to come to understand about the human body. So that is another issue. Third issue is natural resources and environmental management. So natural resources, what we can say, these can be anything find in nature which can be used for our day-to-day life. So anything we can find naturally and we can use this is a natural resource. Example, water. So certain natural resources we used, if we used that natural resource, it's not available. That means some natural resources are limited. Some natural resources are limited because we use these natural resources. So then natural resources are two types. One is renewable, other one is non-renewable. Example, non-renewable natural resource, well-known fossil fuel. Well-known natural resource, non-renewable fossil fuel. And renewable natural resource, even we use, it is not decreasing. For example, water, wind, sunlight. So these things are available. Even we use water for our purpose, whatever purpose. This water again adding to the natural reservoirs, and we can use it again. So this is an example of natural resources, renewable and non-renewable. So what is the problem then? So certain natural resources people overused. They use more than they want. This is called over exploitation. Over exploitation is natural resources are used too much for use of a single person. So if one person use natural resources, these natural resources can be used for 100 people. Then one person is going to use this natural resource. This is one of the problem again we are facing as a decreasing of this certain non-renewable natural resources. What is the outcome? What happen if we do like this? So it's easy. We can understand if we use fossil fuel too much, then it can cause environmental pollution. So here you can see deforestation in Singaraja Rainforest Reserve and environmental law in Sri Lanka. The action of fact of making excessive use of resource. So this is a very important natural resource for us. And you can see large amount of land now exposed due to a removing of these trees from this place. This is called overexploitation. One person, his comfortability, his well-being of life, he wants to use this land area to earn money, and he destroy this place. By doing that, there's a huge impact making to the environment. So this is example of overexploitation. As a result, we have several issues. One is pollution. Second one is this cause again decreased biodiversity. And then if it is getting more change to the weather, that means rainfalls, warming in this area, temperature increase, this can cause desertification. We are going to create a land which is no longer usable by human, and it is not suitable for life of human. So these are the three issues coming up if we over exploit the natural resource. Okay, next thing, fourth issue, sustainability of food production. What is sustainability? Sustainability is keep the maintain the demand at certain stage. So we need to maintain the demand for the growing population. We need to provide food for the growing populations. So that's called sustainability. So if we can keep certain things at standard level, we can use this word for any place: sustainable. Sustainable economy, sustainable food production. So something like that. So we keep food for certain standard limit. With that limit, every person in this world can get right amount of food. So if it is goes down, then we have the food scarcity and malnutrition like this. Okay, now why this happen? This is happen because of a growing population. So growing population mean now we have more than 8 billion people in this world. So when we think about many years back, like 1,000 years ago, the human population is less than 1 billion. Then human population slowly increase. When it come to 1,800, we have this massive increase of human population. So when population increase this much, then the land area for farming and also production is not enough to provide food for this growing population. As a result, we have to use biology knowledge to find sustainable food production. Now, when it comes to a sustainable food production, if we ask this question from any person, can you propose a method that we can increase food production? So people can propose various things. When they propose various things, these things are correct. If they propose things for the sustainable food production, these things are correct. But the problem is we need to find within our syllabus what are the things proposed. What are the things proposed for sustainable food production? Why is that? If a question is asked in the exam, state the three main methods by which food production can be sustainably maintained. If you write something which is correct but not in the marking scheme. Now, this is the marking scheme. This marking scheme directly copy paste something like that from the resource book. If you look your resource book, the three proposed methods are high yielding, disease resistant, and post harvesting technology. Disease resistant, high yielding, and post harvesting technology. But we can add other things. We can add other things, and these things you might learn again in the future lessons. Genetic modification, genetic engineering, then pesticide, herbicide resistant crops. So these are other things we are using. But the problem is the question is asked from this place, and then we have to provide exactly the same thing in the resource book. That's why we again and again telling student resource book, despite of here and there problems, marking scheme is prepared from the resource book. As I told you introduction, we don't want to have other kind of a notes. And why student need another kind of a note if the resource book is the note? If you can't understand and if you cannot remember many things, you can first make a short note. After making the short note, then you can use the resource book. Or we can also make, as I proposed, we make a resource book as a note, and only we improve the quality by adding here and there small things. Okay, with this message, high yielding. So what is high yield? If a person A can make a tomato with 50 gram, and person B using a different method used in biology, proposed in biology, to make a 200 gram of tomato, this is called high yield. Production is high. So same land area used. So this person is used 1 kilometer, 1 kilometer. And this person is used 1 kilometer, 1 kilometer. In same land area, this person is getting, let's say, 200 200 kilos, and this person is getting 600 kilos. something like that. Same resources used, same land area used, and same amount of money and investment used, but the yield is high. So that's the idea of having high yielding crops and high yielding animals. Example, milking cows. We can get more milk from the cows. That's a two example. The second one is disease resistant uh, organisms. So we have certain plant, and these plants are disease resistant. So you're going to learn this one in the uh, coming up lessons, molecular biology. uh, Papaya plant and potato plants produce, and they are resistant for many virus disease. So these plants modified and they are not getting this virus disease. Third one, post harvesting technology. But what is post harvesting technology? When we get whole product from the farm, let's say today when we have a farm, we take all the products, tomato, chili, or potato, or vegetables like things. After that, my immediate weight is 300 kilos. So I am able to get 300 kilos of green chili from my farm. Now it's my responsibility send this to the market. When I send this to the market, I should maintain 300 kilos that people can buy. If I have to remove certain amount due to crushing or due to a bad unpacking that's damaged, the tomato crushed, and if this happen, I have to remove many kilos. I did not maintain right temperature. I did not maintain right packaging. I did not maintain right storage. So if I can't manage this thing, 300 kilo definitely decrease into 200 kilos. This is very common, and you see 270 metric tons of vegetables and fruits are being wasted annually, and as a result, the loss to the Sri Lankan economy is around 20 billion. Now, learning biology can analyze how much wasting just for not maintain the post-harvesting technology. Post-harvesting technology is not rocket science. So we can use a right method of getting the crops, and then we can use right method of packaging the crop from the farm, and we can use right method of transportation. But if we use transport like this, so what kind of transportation is this? And what kind of what amount of product wasting by this way? And after that, we send to the market, supermarket. From the supermarket, they maintain again right temperature and they can keep longer. So this is simply the idea of post-harvesting technology. So here, farm, packaging, pre-cooling, maintain right temperature, transport, and then in the cold storage and refrigerator transported and to the market. So these are the very basic thing. No one need a special understanding to improve the post-harvesting technology. Issue number 5. So it's not a big topic here coming up, understanding the plant life. Now in this case, we're going to learn separate unit plant form and functions. So we try to understand plants. They are very important because they are the primary producers. The photosynthesis is the remarkable mechanism plant contain. As a result, every organism will get food. So we need to understand about the plant. We had to learn about the plant. This knowledge can be used to increase the productivity, increase the survival, increase the existence of the plant, and increase the quality of the plant so we can get more food. We have a separate unit for that. Don't worry. Number 6, diseases. So we need to understand more about disease. I think this topic we don't want maybe discuss too much, because at the moment, if a disease causing virus, disease causing bacteria, or disease causing any parasite coming up in a bigger way, the whole world affected, because we don't know what will be the new diseases we get. We don't know what will be the appearance of this pathogen, how dangerous they are, and how they come to the world, and where they come to the world, if they come, how we find treatment. And that's a one kind of a disease. On the other hand, we don't know a certain disease, how we can find correct treatment, and how the disease coming up. For example, diseases we can divide into two. One is infectious and the other one is non-infectious. So we are talking about infectious disease. So when you're talking about infectious disease, if we look how many people died during COVID-19 all over the world, could be around the 2019 to 2020, 2021, 2022, like 3 years or 3 years period. It could be something around 50 million.